your most powerful ability in the game acquired, the run is going to get quite a bit more crazy very soon.
Absolutely massive, Toadette. Grips just took a few deaths getting sent back to that safety state.
I heard you guys like lore, right? Well, we have go fast left, we have go fast up with enemy, we have go fast down, and now we have go fast up without enemy. Charge jump acquired.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Ori and the Blind Forest 2022 All Skills Tournament. Zem kind of spoiled it in the intro. We're going to get charge jump here in about 25 minutes or so, but till then, we have to talk about this amazing matchup coming up in the round of 32. We're churning through these matches here. We only have 4 more, including this one, coming up. So it's a battle of who will move on to round 16 and who will leave. Featuring off in this match specifically, we have Dedew, our 3rd seed, as well as Kirefel, our 30th seed. We have some very exciting stuff for both of them coming up here. Joining commentary for me, my name is Cleanfell. I'm with 2Kale. How you doing, 2Kale?
I am very excited to see those runners, both of them long-time community members, have started speedrunning this game a long time ago and are happy to show off. Yeah, both kind of expecting the same outcome from this, Dedew winning, which is kind of what you would expect when you look at the numbers. Has the higher seed, has the more recent PB as well as the faster PB, has more other Ori categories to show off, and yeah, is probably the big favorite here. And Kirefel is just hoping to get a good run and to not be too rusty, so hopefully he can achieve that. But yeah, I do believe you might be able to tell us a bit more about our runners while we give maybe 10-second warning for our runners that it will be starting soon.
Yeah, Dedew kind of a long time, both of them honestly, a long time around the community. Dedew's been that more kind of recent big push. Actually, has been kind of on PB pace recently for a 27. Might be our 6th ever person to get a 27 in this category. So has been making a ton of strides to get. And honestly, Dedew, I just kind of love Dedew's story because Dedew started off actually a controller player, but switched kind of a year into KBM and has just done an amazing work there. And yeah, you said the same thing about Kyra is a long-time member of the community. He actually is one of the few members to actually be a part of the 2017 All Skills Tournament. That is 5 years ago. So Kyra is just he's been around the block. He knows where he is. So he's just it's amazing to see kind of someone that long ago still being involved in the community. We love to see that. And yeah, on it does know kind of the rust is still on him because in qualifiers, Kyra got around a 40, but we know he's capable of so much more, getting a 35 PB back in 2019. So we'll have to wait and see. He's hoping for kind of to beat those qualifier average and just kind of get back into that range where he knows he's capable of getting. And look at that. 3 seconds in, skipping a prologue, and we are off into this very fun segment where we just walk around, hold left. This is kind of the area, honestly, where I feel like when you're in a race, you kind of take this minute to just get your nerves calmed down. Because I think most definitely when you do no reset runs, they can feel just very monotonous. But now when you're in a race setting, it's kind of it's a totally different feel. So I like this kind of initial minute that we have for our runners to just kind of just chillax, just enjoy their time here in Nibel.
Yeah, and we are heading left to our first ability of the game, Sign, which will also enable a lot of dialogue. And we have seen that Dedew has chosen a language which will maybe be for some fun for some part of the community. But for now, we're collecting our main attack weapon and just need to fight some Frankies. hopefully neither of our runners will have a big problem with that and we won't see any big pauses there. If they can scroll real at the right rhythm, I'm not too sure what our runners are familiar with there. Dedew getting through cleanly and Kirefel stopping shortly, but also has no problems with the Fronky. So that first fight is off, and we can head towards the right and towards our first keystone door to collect some more keystones. And yeah, so far really close, but of course only jumping and running so far. Nothing too out of the ordinary, but I am sure we will see some divergence, especially in the route as well. I do think that Dedew will go for a more risky route than Kirefel maybe.
Yeah, it's so exciting to see this initial area. There's so many different XP routes that we see these runners takes, and kind of the randomness as well will show itself. You see a health drop on Kyre's side, so we'll have to make sure to utilize his health in the right way to get that 1 HP ghost door. And it's kind of, yeah, seeing what like XP people chose to get is so interesting. Kyre actually don't even kill that first initial slime, just skips it outright, doesn't even need it. And I think both of them actually go ahead and just skip that XP there. So it's kind of just very cool to see. And yeah, Dedew will opt to actually get this 4th health. He does have, you know, that very nice time. You don't expect someone of like Dedew's caliber to like say, just get the 4th health sub. But I like this. I like this choice. Just there's a lot of areas where just having 3 HP would just be so scary. But with that, we can just, you know, take a little bit of time and kind of, yeah, Dedew knows where he's at in this kind of position here with the advantage. So we'll be doing not like for an all-out PB pace here, but we'll be hoping to utilize a little bit of safety here to get a decent run. And
yeah,
so,
and Dedew also has that experience with tournaments, has been around for almost all of the tournaments, I believe, so is probably aware what is tournament safe and what he probably shouldn't be doing, so that 4th health cell definitely is always great to have. You hate dying to 3 damage spikes while only having 3 HP, so for now, both runners heading for wall jump. Dedew, as expected, slightly ahead, but none of our runners getting trolled so far by Sunken Glades, so that is always a good thing to note.
yeah, actually great minds for Kyre. He knew that he was very close to a level up, actually jumped over an XP that fell from one of the brambles, so was able to get that level up down here. So a great wise mind from Kyre as he's able to do that. Both getting an energy here, and we'll opt to continue on through. Actually, Dedew had to go back for that XP. It kind of trolled him a bit, so we'll have to oh my gosh, okay, you know what, these walls are incredibly fun to mess with. It's fine, he got it now. A little bit of a Trojan log says hi. Well, not even that, it's kind of below the Trojan log, so that's all fine. Kind of Glades in itself is just trials and tribulations, you know, just so many little tight inputs that you need to maneuver through to get kind of just the perfect angles on everything. So but overall they're still going nicely through here.
Yeah, and that actually allowed Kirefel to catch a slight bit up. So, if nothing else, it at least made the race closer. Dedew, be careful, spikes deal damage and eventually could lead to your death, but gets through. And now we're entering Schwarzwurzelgänge with a save anywhere, so hopefully that will go smoothly and no misleveling or anything is happening. But as we are on KBM, it is less likely. We see Dedew, of course, not taking Magnet as he is aiming for that 27. It just makes it so much faster. So yeah, he is now on full HP again, so absolutely no worries. Kirefel is going for the safer strat and is going to level Magnet here. I do believe both XP setups looked fine though.
Yeah, they look very nice. So both are going to just opt to get this kind of auto-scroller suction with the orb. There's actually been, Blackheart Burrow is kind of for the orb community recently. It's just kind of been a very high talk of discussion, point of discussion, I mean. There's been so much like nifty like little time saves here and there, and it's like it makes sense. This area just feels so long. There's got to be ways to save it, and indeed there's like some new kind of ways you can utilize save anywhere tricks, which is where we can move around the world with the save ability menu up, and we can save to essentially skip through certain cutscenes that will cost us a lot of time later on. But yeah, both are going to be utilizing this orb and carrying it with us as we're going to be heading up through. platform cycle for Dedew is not as kind of efficient as it can be, but still gets on there very nicely. And I think since he didn't get that XP from that lower slime, I think he's still set up, but might have to kill one more. If not, then he still should be. Yeah, he will opt to kill this slime, so he will be very nicely set up. Ooh, that's so close, but very nicely done.
Yeah, we need that XP, and we meme about the 8 seconds a lot, but they are very important, and we saw both runners not getting the optimal cycles. Of course, the Dedew set up for the cycle in the next room, and Goddard is setting up for the save anywhere to get the new skip, as you alluded to, as Kirefel is still in the last room. But yeah, that XP setup looks great for Dedew. We'll be able to level up off of the Frankie, which is the important part. You don't want to stand in front of Death Gauntlet and not have that level up for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a slap in
Kirefel
the
is in
face,
the same room
essentially.
now.
But yeah, so essentially with this save anywhere, we can go ahead and skip this cutscene. Normally, in the past, we would make a save near the tree, which we did, but now we would just essentially skip that whole kind of walking segment that we'd have to do. So that's definitely going to save some nice time, and it will opt to do some blind movement here. We'll essentially, oh, okay, a little bit too high on that jump, so I think we'll have to just kind of wait out this tree cutscene. Honestly, that's fine. There's the blind movement here is very scary because it auto saves after the cutscene's done, and you could, with some misinputs, you could end up in just all the wrong places. But is done with Black Earth Bros, so very nicely done. We'll be opting to not kill any more slimes because again, we need that level up from that Frankie Billy to get into the right side of the map using a fun energy glitch. And we'll opt to just oh my goodness, bring it to 1 health already. Okay, I just we'll hope he doesn't need to, because I know there's a one part of these spikes. If the Frankie loses sight of you, you'll have to like hit it again to gain its attention. But nah, it's all fine and good. So we'll continue to move on through, and with the correct position, we do have magnet here, so we don't have to be too careful on where the Frankie is.
Dedew does not have magnet. He needs to be a bit more careful. But he got an energy drop, I believe.
Ooh,
Does not use it though. Is at the first part though.
Yeah, you are right. My mistake. But Kyre does have mag, so will not have to be as precise in where he has that Frankie. And both will now be with this, utilizing kind of this early game part of the run, which once you get out of this area, I feel like it's kind of a much nicer time, since kind of the big time losses are kind of out of the way for our runners. And now, opts to go for the grotto. It's like very nicely done from Dedew's side. So will that save another 8 seconds and continue on through to get to that double jump tree.
Yeah, can take the damage boost here. Does not have enough health to... Oh, no. The Crushers. Another 8-second cycle on his side. But yeah, Kirefel gets through Death Gauntlet. No problem. Very nice there. Took the save, I believe. Or maybe not yet. But we'll get down to Grotto as Dedew is now at double jump tree, and I do believe he goes for blind movement. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, more blind movement on this side, just not as a kind of a riskier one. It's kind of at this point, it's just a ton of muscle memory and specific tight inputs that we get from our brain. Our brain just puts it in, and that was very nicely done. You actually get over to pretty much the second wall as the camera scooted on over. And so now that we're done with the double jump tree, we're on to this very, very fun Enter Ginzo split. This is one that's just like just so specific on all the different movements. These grotto walls, so finicky, so slippery. Is gonna go for the baguette jump. Very nicely done. That saved, I think, about 500 hours. I cannot be too sure. I've never really done the baguette jump.
Yeah, 500 hours sounds about right, as he's climbing those infamous walls of Grotto. And Kirefel is also opting for some blind movement. Oh, but seems to be in the water, gets out though. So no big time loss for him, as Dedew is skipping a cutscene and heading over to collect his water vein, as we need that to enter Ginzo. And yeah, both runners definitely showing off greatly so far. No major problems on either side. Just some missed cycles on the side of Dedew, but that is just glades for you, as we get to the teleporter, and Kirefel is setting up for that grotto skip.
Yeah, kind of as you were kind of alluding to, it gets a little bit of a slip up on this grotto skip. The XP there always just trolls you because you pick it up, then once you get on the log, you have to sit through the animation and just like, oh my gosh, why? But it's fine. All fine now. We'll continue to move through, and yeah, kind of as we were saying, even with the big PD difference, they're pretty much on the same split, and while Dedew will continue to potentially make up ground. With just kind of maybe better movement execution. Just kind of this keeping up here, I've been really liking so far from both runners. We'll opt to.
Oh no!
Ooh, oh gosh, a little bit of slip up there. Again, these walls are. What are they? What are they coated in? You know.
They are coated in spaghetti, I believe. You can see runners are just struggling with that, and it's something that even high-level runners struggle with a lot, just because they are exactly what they look like, and they look like a lot of spaghetti. So Kirefel is now up and is probably glad that he can leave Grotto for now, as Dedew is entering this very vertical dungeon. Hopefully these platforms won't be too much of a problem for him. Gets that backflip jump to get up, and is opting for some cycles, hopefully, to get through the second room. It's, again, 8 seconds everywhere, as Kirefel is making his way to the Ginso tree. Yeah, and the grotto walls are soon behind him for now as well, so gonna be happy about that. Takes the save here to get the level up and be able to continue through.
I like this save as well because those spikes will do 3 damage, and while he does have the 4th HP, just kind of like taking that initial damage could just mesh up your movement there, and you could potentially take maybe even a second bit of damage, which would cause a death. But no real issues there. We have this puzzle here that Dedew is going through, utilizing only 1 block instead of the 2 were required. We'll have that quick flame, so that mini boss won't be as tricky. Is going to utilize some very nice cycles. You see how he was doing kind of a 1-2 there with the sign kind of firing rate, and is getting a very nice cycle. I believe this will be a 4.
That's worth
very
4
nicely done.
cycles.
Gets the XP as well because we don't have magnet. Sometimes the XP could just troll you and not be anywhere nearby, but gets the XP and is kind of pretty much moving on through. It's been amazing to see, and yeah, you can start to really tell. Oh gosh, okay, wait, I think that's potential because you set it for the ghost door here coming up. But you can kind of tell again the kind of the differences in execution start to show themselves. Dedew doing a ton of like ninja jumps off these walls, as well as these like very finicky dash glides over certain these gamer cycles up here. Kind of just showed itself like the execution difference, and like yeah, Dedew is like definitely proving himself to be one of the top runners in this category specifically. But now the run's gonna get a ton more fun. We found Bash, and Bash is just gonna make everything so much easier, bashing off all these projectiles, these enemies, and now we're gonna be moving through the second half of Ginso to dupe some keys and move on out of here.
Yeah, and I do believe that Dedew is also one of the runners to make some fun with double bashes around the spider sack area, so be on the lookout for that, as Kirefel is solving some puzzles. This game does actually have puzzles, believe it or not. As a speedrunner, we sometimes forget that they exist and are kind of complicated if you've never played the game, but our runners, of course, absolutely no problem, will get through. Does not have quick flame, so that boss will take a little bit longer, but these shots do look very fast to me.
Yeah, they look amazingly well done. Gets a hyperspeed as well to get into the second mini boss. Honestly, I don't even remember how much time that stays, but it's always just a fun thing to see, where he just goes and is in. So now with Ginso pretty much behind Dedew at this point, we'll be returning to Grotto because we need to go over to the swamp area to get our stomp tree, and we'll be utilizing a friendly Ringo frog to get ourselves into that area.
Yeah, hopefully Ringo will indeed be friendly and not troll our runners. He is sometimes known to be a magical creature, and magical creatures phase through floors, but hopefully everything goes well with the frog this time, as Kirefel is also close to acquiring Bash and is definitely still doing a great job with keeping the run alive, and even getting a ghost door didn't save as much time as you might have liked. But yeah, no save on the side of Dedew, so hopefully... Okay, Ringo didn't take a bath, but did take a shot to his face, so... that is not a first try Ringo, not what he probably likes to see, but we'll try again as Kirefel is now climbing the second half of Ginso and doing some quick work of those puzzles as well.
Yeah, Dedew was careful enough to not make Ringo fall in, but since he waited too long, he just fired a shot as he was going in for the bash. So instead of bashing Ringo itself, was bashing the projectile and essentially just bashed it right into his face. So, but very nicely done from there. I mean, that shows kind of the amazingness. And oh my gosh, Kirefel just got like an insane dash off of the flower just into spikes. Oh my goodness. And he didn't even vault off of that too. That was insane. But there you go. Now we'll be setting up for his own key duplication, and we'll be not going for like the one that's really kind of the angle to go right into the spike area, but gets it very nicely done as well.
Yeah, and those damages of spikes, I didn't quite jinx it, but it definitely, what I was about to say definitely didn't work out anymore. But now can collect all 4 keystones and have 3 extra keystones heading out of Ginso, which is very nice, as we do not want to swim in Swamp, where Dedew currently is, and is gonna show us why Ringo is called Ringo, as he will play the drums for us and get to the AC and can now head out. And yeah, we will see interesting shenanigans with Bash throughout this entire split. First of all, we're gonna skip a cutscene here, so hopefully we won't see anything happening. And indeed, nothing happened, as Kirefel is also now teleporting to Grotto and will soon follow with the swamp entry as well.
Yeah, very nicely done. Kyra did take that death in Ginzo, but did the rekindle to save, so didn't have to reduplicate. So that was very nice. Oh, on the left, here we go. Double bash shenanigans from Dedew is going to utilize this spider shot, and if he can stomp the peg, oh, okay. If you would stomp the wall, and then you could bash off the shot again, you can actually skip this cutscene here that is being watched. So it doesn't get that, but that was very close, and that's one of the tricks that really sets apart, like people just the top tier runners, because that is such a really tight knit trick, and still going for it in this race. I really love to see that. And so yeah, now with Dedew getting his charge flame, a skill that we use sometimes in this run, Kyra will be doing his own swamp entry, dunks Ringo into the water on the first attempt, but we'll be setting up for a second.
Yeah, and this time Ringo looks to be in a much better position, so we'll continue to go through, and hopefully doesn't get trolled as well. Is also going for the double bash method. We haven't mentioned how precise it is to double bash. You have a 1-frame window, so a lot of runners just remap bash to 2 different buttons or to the scroll wheel to be able to get that. But even then, you need a lot of training to get those consistently, and both runners have been showing off with them so far. Dedew doing some to get up to Valley, so definitely a great show of skill as we get to our next tree on both sides. Kirefel almost at the stomp tree, does not quite get enough height to get to the lock immediately, but that is no problem, only a minor time loss, as he now is at the next tree, as Dedew is setting up for some... Is he going to do shenanigans around here? I'm not too sure, it doesn't look like it. We'll just do normal, quote-unquote, fast stompless. Hopefully his shot looks right. As a caster, it's impossible to tell, so I don't know if that will hit or not. It hit, so great job by Dedew.
Yeah, opted to get charge dash early. It's kind of one of small variations of the route. You can get it right there by the spiders instead of putting a save down right here, and getting it afterwards, getting this cutscene. But very nicely done. And yeah, this is kind of what we expected. They're still keeping great paces, both Dedew and Kyra. But yeah, this mid to late game section with bash, and then now you have charge dash. This is where kind of the difference and the gap between the runners will start to grow slowly as we get to these late portions. Dedew is now going to opt for the biggest sequence break and one of the hardest tricks in the game, Sorrow Bash, utilizing a sequence of bashes, very nicely done. I was saying stuff, and then it just immediately happened, and boom! Now Dedew's in a sorrow, just like that.
Yeah, Trauerpass is usually an area that we can just blitz through with those rocket jumps. If we don't kill the frog, now has to glide up slowly. And yeah, unfortunately lost him in energy, but can take that backup energy as Kirefel does not show us lore. He is going to reload and try that again. It is worth going for it a second time, but I think as soon as you miss it twice in a row, it is not quite worth it to go for it. So hopefully he can get it this time. Just needs to get the right setup, and unfortunately still triggered. It will try to go for it a third time, so yeah, hopefully will work out for him. As Dedew opened up a save anywhere, so we can see nothing, but Dedew is well aware of where he is and what he needs to do. As Kirefel finally gets this cutscene skip, that is the extent to which we do not want to see lore. Every runner will tell you that this is better than actually just watching the 10 seconds.
Ooh, takes a death in that infinite damage spikes, but put a save after the Kuro cutscene, so does not need to attempt that trick again. We'll be getting this energy cell as Dedew will be getting our Sunstone. Did do the Terror Break method, so we did see the charge jump before the Sunstone. A lot of runners kind of in Dedew's kind of PB range, what you like to see, the slow transition to the crazy frog juggle. But Dedew is one of the few runners who is stayed loyal to the Terror Break, and I like to see that. So now that we have our Sunstone, we are out of here, and we'll be moving on through. And you definitely want to keep your eyes on the left. This is where the most fun of the viewing pleasure of the run is coming up. Misty Woods. So many utilizations of stomp cancels, stair cancels, rocket jumps, and meteor kicks that you just saw, as well as some charge dash with the cancellation of bash to just keep on moving through. Or it's just a blur at this point, right?
Yeah, we don't even get to see Ori really. All we see are the dash versions of Ori, as Kirefel is heading into Valley. Yeah, does really do a great job at his run as well, especially considering how rusty he feels he is, and how long he hasn't really been playing. But Dedew is just flying through here, absolutely no problem with the enemies, is in fact gonna use them to gain some more speeds, and those spike pits are also absolutely no problem. We'll tap glide, which is very understandable. This is definitely an area where you want to have that glide, and has now climb acquired, which for now isn't too useful. It will become more useful in combination with grenade and charge jump, but we have at least all the skills as we need them for the category. I mean, it is all skills after all.
Exactly. So now we are heading on through, utilizing some really tight nick rocket jumps there, because you have like a really narrow spike shaft, but very nicely done. Gets through these mushrooms that alternate based on every time you jump. And now we're kind of moving through more weaving around. Ooh, very nicely done. Didn't even really use a lot of gliding there. And does have that fourth health, so even if he does take a damage boost, is kind of fine in the end.
Kirefel on the right, not quite happy with his setup, actually got shot by a spider. That shot, yeah, as I mentioned, I will not comment on shots because it's impossible to tell. But just have slight problems with getting the shots at the right timing. Isn't quite happy with this one, so we'll take an intentional death as, was there even a melee boss? I'm not sure if I saw one or not.
Oh, I'm not sure. I just kept looking at Kyre. So I think a blur happened and I missed it, but there you go. Gets fast stompless. I mean, yeah, I definitely like that. Wasn't happy with kind of the first two shots, which is definitely understandable. Sometimes you just don't, the angles doesn't feel right, or it just hits the rock altogether. But kind of stayed a level head. And also put a save up there just in case, so get easily back to that area. So even with the deaths, just said, okay, just line this up, take my time, and very nice, done.
High five from our runners.
Yeah, rare one. I like it.
Yeah, and Dedew kind of circling his energy, because one energy isn't quite what you want to see. Got an energy drop here, but immediately lost it again. As, yeah, now he is out of energy, and there is another cutscene coming up that we kind of want to skip, so will have to resort to some emergency energy on here as we head into this area. And Kirefel is taking the save here, which is understandable. You want to have full energy, and will take the frog for a ride. Of kind of older way of getting up into Sorrow is kind of safer, as you are required to gain enough height, whereas the lower setup could mean that you don't quite get it. So very well to be aware that he wants to do that and can now continue with his Sorrow Bash. Is setting up, will lure two birds, not frogs this time. Doesn't quite get the correct setup this time. Oh, that is a setup I haven't seen. That is very interesting, but it worked out. Nice.
That was so cool. Just there's so many different ways to do Sorrow Bash at this point. You see double bash methods, you see kind of the single bash, you see kind of utilizing one bird, you see utilizing two. There's so many different ways to play pretty much, and you love to see kind of new things always coming out. And so yeah, now kind of another blink and you miss it mode. Dedew is already with all his skills in hand, will be moving on through this enter horror split to get us to the final dungeon, which we will see none of because we're going to skip it all with a one frame door warp trick to get us through. Oh, Kirefel did take a death, but gets a safety save. I like that. If you just are not 100% on an area, just say, oh, just put a save down, you know? Don't risk the massive time save, you know?
Dedew with the very satisfying grenade jump. You love to see it. It's just so great to witness every single time. Is now into Mount Horror, and hopefully will get his door warp fairly quickly, as he is on pretty good pace. Looks to be like a 29 pace, which for a setting like that is absolutely amazing, as Kirefel has charge jump acquired as well. And Dedew didn't quite get first try door warp, but second try, no, not quite. Third try being the charm. And third try is the charm, so can continue to the final escape. And I do believe we don't see the warmth cutscene. Or, well, we see it, but we don't see Ori.
Yes, exactly. A very specific final of the two final tricks. We'll be doing some blind movement in this final escape. You can't even see the first two rooms, and there you go. You just snap the camera, and now we're in. Oh my gosh, dodges the fire pillar as well. Okay, you must have felt that a little bit of heat on Ori's back. But now is into this little hairpin section, gets through, has to utilize his 5th health to bash off these fishes, gets out with 1 HP to spare, is now climbing up this final room, is going to bash to the left and avoid these rocks, set for a final grenade jump, and just like that, we are through. GG Dedew finishing with, low 29 and going to be taking victory in this race.
Yeah, he is going to face off against someone else in the tournament next. I definitely am aware of who he's going to face next.
You might see his name on the screen somewhere. I don't know.
That
Depends.
will be... Oh, yeah, actually, yeah, you. That
Hello.
is very true. Facing the two fells in a row, as Kirefel is now going down, and we see some optimizations from Dedew. I can definitely appreciate that, as it is time with a 29-29. Definitely a nice time to look at, as Kirefel is now heading into the nice to watch segment, as he is getting into the Misty Woods as well with a nice meteor kick. Will not place a safety save because we will need all that energy to move very fast.
Exactly, and we'll continue. Oh, actually does opt to place one there. I like that, because if you do take a death, you'll go all the way back to the Sunstone, and that's just one you never want to see happen to our runners. But it's going to utilize some Frankie jump up. It just, all these enemies are just kind of so perfectly placed, honestly. Just kind of keep utilizing so many different ways to just kind of speed through a different area real quick. You can utilize this bird, get these spikes down here, and just keep using on all these slimes, these frogs. It's just, my goodness, it's just so nice. It's just so nice. every time you see it, right?
Yeah, it's so satisfying to just see Ori move across the screen in that pace, and just using the enemies instead of being afraid of them with the charge dash and bash cancel. It's so nice to watch at every skill level, in my opinion, and is now through the spikes as well, so absolutely no problems, did not take a death, and will now acquire climb as well. As, yeah, we see a sacrificing bird and Dedew's side, watching some lore, and with that climb acquired, Kirefel can now enter the second half of Misty, which is no less satisfying than the first half.
Exactly. We've got continuing changing rooms. Oh, these slimes are just so... Those falling slimes are so annoying. You have to dash like a perfect kind of timing, or else they'll just fall on right into your head. But it's being a little safe here, not utilizing the rocket jump off that frog in particular. Going to kind of just glide on through this little section to get to this area. Does do another safety save right there. I like that. And refills with that extra one. So now is going to continue on through more mushrooms that we have to jump across to make sure these lasers are covered correctly. And does opt to do some nice charge dashes here. I think that was a stomp cancel as well. Very nicely done. And we'll have to see in a bit if there will... I mean, you mentioned a mini boss, but I mean, I didn't see it over there, and I wonder if I'll see it over here as well.
Yeah, hopefully we won't, because in speed games we don't want to see bosses. We want to see them melt away. But let's see if he has 4 energy, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some safety save here. And indeed, there it is. Doesn't even get the crystal because he's still on 4 energy. Just that rocket jump, unfortunately, right into spikes. So now on 1 HP needs to be a bit careful, but I am sure he will manage as he gets through this corridor quite nicely and will continue to that well, mini-boss we talk about, but let's see if we can actually see it on screen. We'll refill some resources because you don't want to drop out of them. Gonna take a safety save. And yeah, there is 2 of them actually, but they will appear or disappear shortly, I am sure of that. Yeah, gets the first kill and the second kill immediately after, so very well done.
Yeah, that's, you know, even not the immediate 1 cycle. It's just like, it's still nice to get it done in the 2. So now with that done, we just have to put these keystones in and not actually grab Atsu's torch. We don't want to get the Guan seal because we skipped that entire dungeon. So now we can continue on through and get out. Oh my gosh, okay, that frog is a little rude. Sending us a nice goodbye gift with the frog shot, but now we can just kind of cross this valley plane, doing more stomp cancels. So nice to see. And we'll be heading on through to get our last skill.
Yeah, grenade, as we could see on the Dedew's side, can be used to great effect. Hopefully we'll see some grenade jumps as well. I'm personally a big fan of them. As, yeah, Kirefel has been putting on a good show, and I do believe that is pays for a really good run for him, especially since he is de-resting currently. Has been back in the community kind of for the tournament, so not a lot of time, and he's definitely showing some great improvement. I think his average time on the qualifiers was a 41, and we're definitely heading for a faster time, unless there is like a big mistake happening, and with the way he has been playing, it doesn't seem to be the case.
Yeah, you even get that fast laser cycle too, just not having to wait for another cycle to go through. Just said, oh, I see the laser disappearing, I'm going for it, and gets it so nicely done. And yes, now with that, we'll be getting on through, getting a grenade at about a 3440. And so now we can, again, potentially utilize that grenade for future grenade jumps. We'll have to wait and see. This is always, again, with the grenade jumps, this is always the part of the run where people kind of make their own choices on where they, do them, or if they do them at all, or so on and so forth. So kind of up to the runners pretty much how they feel and how they want to do these final 2 splits here. And yeah, so Kyra's actually, well, oh my, okay, that was close.
That scared both of us, but yeah, as you mentioned, that is kind of the cool thing about all skills, right? That we have a lot of flexibility in the route, and basically everyone that does a different route, and we get to see a lot of different things. Yeah, for example, the upper route that we didn't see earlier is a bit safer, not entirely faster, but definitely a good choice as well, especially if you feel less comfortable with the precise jump off of the platform. So now we're heading back into Swamp, and Kirefel will soon finish out his run as well. these spikes definitely are bullying him, but absolutely no problem. We have the 5 health, or 6 Atlas point actually, so everything is fine. We're even gonna take a safety save, definitely a sensible choice as he would have been very low health otherwise, and can now continue on to the final escape. Let's see if he knows the grenade jump or goes for a different one in Horror Fields. Is just opting to bash. Sensible choice if you just want to play it safe. And is dashing over to Horror Fields, and let's hope for a first try door warp.
Yeah, let's get that. Let's get that 100% trick success rate. He is on a nice sub 40 pace. I think that can specifically be around maybe a mid 38 if we get all this trickery that is ahead of us nailed to the T. So let's wait and see. Not the first try. That's okay. I think I honestly sometimes it's always like a third try thing, right? Sometimes you get too early on the first, too late on the second, but the third try, yeah,
Yeah,
it's always
third try.
it's always a third try, right? If you don't get the first, it's but that basically was the first try because just the game wasn't feeling it then, but now it was, so it gave him the first try, right?
Yeah, definitely. That was a first try in my books, as he now activates the warmth cutscene, and we will actually see Ori in the first 2 rooms, which is quite nicely because there is some nice platforming happening there, and we can appreciate that on Kirefel's side now. So, with some nice charge dash cancels, is getting through. Will stomp this to get to the next room and deactivate the instant kill. Will wait for the laser and not get a haircut, unlike Dedew's back off Ori maybe got one. Charge flames this part and can now use the bashes to go over and into the S-bend.
We did get that 6 health in Horror Field, so no real manipulation of the fish is required here. You can be a lot more lenient, so just goes as and bashes in, gets out there with enough to survive, skipping one final Kuro trigger there, so we can get onto this room and have pretty much no, rush. We can just sit here all we want to set up for the final grenade jump. If Kara chooses to do it, to skip about 35 seconds, and gets it done. So yeah, that's a very nice mid 38, which is definitely a ton better than the qualifiers. So he's got to be feeling real good about this one.
Yeah, definitely. Big GG to him on that improvement and on showing off some great skills right here. Unfortunately, is the end of the tournament for him, but I do believe he was aware of that, so just took the opportunity to get back into the game and show off some great skills, and I am definitely saying he achieved that, so GG to him. Let's just hope for one last decision, narrow hops. No arrow hops. Respectable. Respectable.
Just slides it in, gets the best time possible, right? Not gonna lose that. I forget. It's like how many seconds do you lose for each jump? Like 0.1 or something like that. But yeah, that's definitely a ton. That's his best tournament race for this specific 2022 tournament. So gets it done, very nicely done. And so yeah, amazing job from both of them. And again, Dedew will be moving on to face some clean fellow. I don't really know a ton about him, but we'll have to wait and see, and we'll also see if we'll get our runners in for post-game interview.
Yeah, that is of course always up to the runners, and we would always like to have a bit of a chat with them. So let's ask them. We already have to do on deck, so we're just waiting for Kirefel's answer on that. But yeah, that was a good race, and there is more Ori action to come tonight actually. In about 15 minutes, we will see the first scheduled match of the tournament, the first bracket match, Rin versus Sarah Baron. The first seed versus the last seed will be brought to you in about 15 minutes. And for now, we will take Dedew in for an interview. GG Dedew, congrats on a great run.
Oh, I actually need to unmute myself.
Yes.
Audio is impossible after all, don't worry.
It is.
Yeah, honestly, it's kind of hard to kind of grasp certain questions because there's no real huge mess ups. Honestly, just pull off a really nice low 29. So I guess kind of overall, what you've been kind of looking for in this scene, in this race, like consistency wise, or just kind of making sure all the big tricks, didn't mess you up anyway, or just kind of overall, kind of how was your headspace going through that whole run?
Yeah, the run went as expected, I guess. I wasn't hoping for anything better since, I guess this is my first full run in like over a week. Didn't really have time to practice much. So yeah, I was still really happy to get like a sub 30. Sub 30 was really my goal for this race.
Yeah, GG on that.
Yeah.
And a follow-up question, you kind of mentioned that you didn't have a lot of time to practice this week. Will that be like your strategy for the entire rest of the bracket, to just like hope that, yeah, I will be enough with some practice before, or will you ramp up the practice once we get into the later stages?
The nice thing is that I have the entire next week off, so I can play Ori all week.
Nice.
So yeah, good luck. Good luck, Clean. So yeah,
Hmm.
I guess my goal for now is to go for 27. I'm probably gonna grind next week for 27.
Yeah, will we see any route changes for that, especially in the tournament, or just for like getting to that number?
I'm still going for the same strats I'm doing right now. I mean, you probably noticed, but like all my strats are like pretty consistent strats. I'm still doing, what is it called? Terror Break.
Terror
I'm still
break?
doing Terror Break at 4 HP, so I'm not planning on switching anytime soon. I mean, at least until the tournament is over. But yeah, but there's still some little time saves I could implement, like the new OG Fast Dauntless. I have practiced it, and
Ooh.
and I guess the new strats in BRB maybe. I'm not sure yet if I'm gonna use some of them.
Yeah, we'll be looking forward to that. And yeah, both of you kind of already said something about it. But yeah, how do you feel about your next matchup, Dedew?
Oh, it's gonna be easy.
Yeah, for me, I'm excited. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I'll
No,
have to maybe do a little bit more practice on my end.
I
I'm
I
excited.
think Kirefel has a really good execution, so wouldn't surprise me if he gets like a 31 or even better, like anytime soon. Um, like especially after playing so much Rando, like your execution gets so much better just from like playing the game. And I guess the PB is almost free after playing a lot of Rando.
Exactly. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see when we end up scheduling that after this round of 32 is over. But again, for now, thanks so much, Dedew, for joining us, and good luck on the practice and the 27. Really showing to the community that 4 HP is actually the best HP,
The
right?
first 4 HP Terror Break 27.
Yeah, let's go. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm hyped as
Everyone's doing
well.
Sea Juggle. I could do
And
Sea Juggle. I know how to do it, just I don't want to right now. I'm going for consistent strat. Yeah.
understandable. But yeah, with that, I think we're done for this race. But don't worry, the next race is already getting lined up. It will be between Rin, our first seed, against Sarah Baron. So definitely gonna stick around for that. You can grab a drink in the meantime, have a toilet break, get some snacks, get prepared for that match, as it will be great to watch for sure. And we have more Ori action coming your way. We have a match tomorrow at 11 p.m. UTC and a match on Friday as Saturday as well. No, Friday. I still have my days of the week correctly. So yeah, more Ori action is coming your way, and you can actually now use exclamation mark schedule to check that. So go ahead and do that if you want to see what matches have been scheduled so far. But with that, yeah, my name has been 2Kill. I was joined by Cleanfell on commentary. We had Grease as our restreamer and Fupio providing us with some stats, so thanks to both of them, and Dedew and Kirefel for putting on a great show. And thanks everyone for watching. I hope you will have a wonderful rest of your day, and see you in about 10 minutes.